What's up, guys? Your girl Luca here, back with another video, and today I am here to give my opinion and my thoughts on the Jonathan Majors verdict. Um, this is something that I discussed earlier this year when he was first arrested and the charges were first brought forth. I was one who was like, okay, let's just wait for more information. Let's wait for more information. Then some text messages came out that didn't paint a very positive picture. Matter of fact, we can take a quick look at these text messages and then actually get into the case and get into the charges. But if you look here, these are the alleged text messages. So this is Jabari talking to, or I think that's the chick's name, Jonathan Majors' girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, that is, talking to Majors, and it doesn't paint a pretty picture, to be honest. So she's saying, I will not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so, or you don't trust me to. I promise I would never mention you, but I understand your fear. This statement here doesn't really provide very good. It doesn't really sound good. We don't know the full context of the conversation, but the implication here, I'm sure that we can surmise what that is, right? But then Jonathan goes on to say, you can't reject love. It's if there's no real love, it's just lip service. I gave you love last night and this morning before I got out of the bed. When you got up, you were not full of love at all. I didn't feel it at all. You could have just given me a hug or walked close to me or asked me if you could give me a hug, not the other way around. It works both ways. I will probably, I don't know myself. I think he's talking about unaliving himself. It's not really contemplating anymore. Um, I'm a monster, a horrible man, not capable of love. I am unaliving myself soon. I've already put things in motion. And then she's like, Jonathan, you can't really say things like that. I'm sorry for not hugging you this morning. I really am. I was just sleepy and disoriented by the fact that you thought I would break your necklace. I love you so much, obviously. What do you mean you've put things in motion? And then he's like, it's just fake. And I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions. And as I don't think you actually protect us if it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something. And then she continues with, I will tell the doctor I bumped my head. If I go, I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? I feel like you want to be together, as in not to embarrass yourself for everything you've said to your friends and family. Last night, I considered unaliving myself versus coming home. You said you needed love last night, and I put my feelings aside and tried to give you that. I need love too, or maybe I'm such a monster and horrible man that I don't deserve it and I should unalive myself. This way of miserable existence and blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, basically, right? Like just nonsense coming out of his mouth. Does not paint a very good picture. Again, why would she say, well, I won't tell the truth, I'll lie about what really happened, I want to be with you? It doesn't imply very good things, right? All implications, nothing stated. That being said, even him threatening to unalive himself, and even him threatening to, like, well, why didn't you give me a hug? I'm sorry for, what? Like, what are you even saying right now? It's ridiculous. But regardless of that, we're here to discuss this verdict here, right? But the reason why I brought up those text messages is because I don't think the conversation is as clear cut as people are making it. People are either 100% on Major side or 100% on this chick side. There's like no room for nuance ever. There's never any room for nuance, and no one actually looks into things. They just take headlines and run with it. And that's my biggest issue with this generation that we're in. And I'm not talking generation as in like Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, that kind of thing. I'm talking generation as in like this social media age that we're in. Is that people can just come on social media and just blatantly lie, and no one checks them, and they'll get thousands, millions of views, and it's like nothing fucking happens. Like, look at this here. This person, this disgusting, vile piece of garbage said, someone was like, oh, crazy how people are cool with talking about recasting Kang and not T'Challa, right? And then this idiot's like, well, one is a convicted this, and the other died of cancer. First of all, Jonathan Majors was not convicted of any sort of assault of the sexual kind. Like, he's not a convicted rapist, you know? And the fact that this person lied about that is vile. It's just so vile, and it has 12,000 likes. These people are brain dead. Absolutely brain dead. But regardless of that, we're here to talk about the actual verdict. So Jonathan Majors, he was charged with 4 counts, 4 different counts, right? And the verdict was, it was a split verdict, so he was charged not guilty for 2, guilty for 2, right? So Marvel parted ways with Jonathan Majors after the guilty verdict. They were like, they had that tweet on deck. They were ready to be done with him from the jump, right? And they just waited until the actual verdict came in because they announced it far too soon. Like, it would have already had to have been put in motion beforehand before they announced it, right? But so Majors was convicted of a misdemeanor assault and harassment for attacking his girlfriend in the car. So, um, okay. So here are the charges. His sentence is scheduled for February 6th. He could face up to a year in jail, that is, right? And okay. So I just want to make sure I'm giving the correct information about what the charges are exactly. Oh, here we go. We can talk about here. Okay. So this is the lawyer who was heavily involved in the Tory Lanez Meg the Stallion case, right? So, regarding what exactly Jonathan Majors was convicted of, there's some misinformation from out there, including from me. Both assault charges are related to what happened inside the car, and the harassment charges relate to what happened outside of the car. He was acquitted on anything having to do with intent. So this means Majors was convicted related to Jabari's finger injury. Jury ruled it reckless, but not intentional. But the assault is for the finger injury, right? So, Major's attorney is assuming a lot about jury deliberations when she says jurors didn't believe Jabari about what happened because they said no intent. That again, that is like that is the lawyer guessing about what the jury actually thought, right? But the jury convicted Majors of third-degree assault, recklessly causing injury, and for what happened. It's for what happened in the SUV, right? So, he was charged with the uh, assault, intentional assault, and then reckless assault, and then also the harassment charges, right? So what people don't seem to be understanding, because that's another issue with the clickbait age, the social media age. People are putting like Jonathan Majors found guilty of assault without going into detail about like what the actual charge was, right? So the jury stated, and they found that he did not intentionally mean to harm her or hurt her finger in that car. Like, it was not intentional on his part, right? The reckless charge is for him, like, regardless of whether or not it was intentional, she still got hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's charged with. Again, people want to bring up like race, and they want to bring up gender politics and all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like, this is a slap on the wrist charge. Like, it's up to a year in prison. So it will up to a year, which means that there's the possibility it could be shorter. And then I believe there's also the chance for probation as well. So he might not even go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm mixing up jail and prison. They're not the same, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, there's a chance like he might not even actually go. He might just go through probation. This is a slap on the wrist charge. Slap on the wrist. Like criminally speaking, it's light work, right? Now, that being said, the main issue comes to the damage to his reputation. This has, as of right now, ruined him. We are in a post-Me Too era, which means people are going to take these charges, and I'm using Me Too in the concept of violence against women. I'm not talking about the sexual kind, right? But we're in an era where people are a bit more mindful, a little bit more in touch when it comes to these kinds of charges, charges against women, like violence against women, to clarify, right? So, like, and given the persona that Jonathan Majors had, and given the persona Jonathan Majors had before this information came out, which is him being painted as like the bastion of like male sensitivity, being in touch with his like femininity, that kind of thing, people don't like a perceived hypocrite, so they were going to be harsher on him regardless, right? So I just think overall, slap on the wrist charge, right? But it's, at least for now, he's cooked. He's cooked in the court of public opinion. People think that this dude is a woman beater. Now, mind you, those text messages do not paint a good picture. They don't. But at the end of the day, he has not been convicted of intentionally trying to hurt this woman. It's all reckless. So we don't have any definitive ruling on him being abusive in that manner. We just have this ruling of him recklessly causing injury and harassment, which again, these are some really light charges. Like, at the end of the day, being charged with any sort of crime is awful, but the way people are blowing it out of proportion and spreading lies is absolutely egregious. It's disgusting. I've also seen people, well, look at Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr.'s he was the face of Marvel for so long, but what he was doing drugs, and I'm just like, the correlation between being accused of assault against a woman versus drugs, there's no correlation. There's no correlation there. No correlation. Also, Robert Downey Jr. What does it say? Robert Downey Jr. describes year in prison, says it could feel like he could feel the evil in the air. He served his time. He served his debt to society. So what are you even talking about? Bringing up Robert Downey Jr. Now, a better person to compare him to would be probably Ezra Miller. Now, there has to be a reason why nothing ever came from the numerous allegations against Ezra Miller. But honestly speaking, I'm not looking into that, okay? I'm not looking into that because this is not what it's about. But I feel like Ezra Miller is perhaps they might be a better better comparison there. But also at the same time, Ezra Miller is with DC, not with Marvel, right? The Flash was already done filming, okay? So the Flash movie was already losing money. All right? They stand to lose even more money by not releasing it. So also DC is kind of, I don't know. DC is a little weird when it comes to like these kinds of things. Seemingly, with the Amber Heard situation. So who knows, right? But the Flash movie was already filmed, so it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll just release this movie despite Ezra being a menace. Whether or not Ezra will come back or not, we don't know. We don't know what James Gunn's plans are for those actors, those previous actors. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, I know why people are comparing Robert Downey Jr. to Jonathan Majors. It's the race thing, but I'm just like, what, babes? Let's stop for a moment. And I hate to sound condescending, but let's stop for a moment and actually like think about what we're saying here. If you actually look into it. If you look into it, there's no comparison between the two. And Robert Downey Jr. went to jail. Okay? Or went to prison. So there's no point in bringing him up. Social media is like, it could be a blessing when it comes to a lot of stuff, but it's also a curse. It's a curse in a lot of ways because, again, there's so much misinformation. People are so quick to defend someone. You are so quick to demonize someone. Lies are just spread and there's no way to control it. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. If I personally, that person who called him like a grapist, I would sue for defamation. I don't know what goes into that, but like you can't call. I think didn't J.K. Rowling sue someone who lied about her on Twitter? I'm not 100% sure about that. Listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think like the fact that you can just blatantly lie and have 300 plus thousand people see that and then not correct yourself when people will call you out for it is absolutely disgusting. There's no remorse. The fact that people can just say anything it's disgusting. I understand that freedom of speech, but it's like freedom of speech where you're not causing harm versus when you are. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. The law is very interesting. It's different based on the state, and there's so much that goes into it, and we are all, I think, like most people are very ignorant of what goes on to the law, right? Like I didn't even learn until a couple of years ago, maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something, that you could be charged you could be charged with multiple things for the like seemingly this one offense, right? Because I was part of a jury that was involved with a certain case, and there was like multiple charges. I'm like, I had no idea that it wasn't just one set charge. It was multiple things that went into that, right? So anyway, that's all I got to really say about it. It's not even like a Gen Z versus millennial thing because the person who was lying about Jonathan being a rapist is a millennial. So there's no excuse there. There's no excuse for age or ignorance or anything like that. Like they're just horrible person, in my opinion. You are a that is such a serious offense, and to lie about that, you're disgusting. You make me sick to my stomach. But again, going back to the text messages, like, we can't 100% say for sure that he's been framed or set up or innocent because those texts are super spooky. Like, they paint a very ugly picture, in my opinion, but all implication, that's all I have to say about it. I just really wish that y'all would, like, actually take the time to look into things before just automatically, like, demonizing someone or automatically trying to defend them. Like, there's gotta be some room for nuance here, but, I know my you don't have to say it, I already know. But anyway, we can just move on from that. You guys have a good rest of your day. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Um, I again, like, this generation, dude, social media age, it's just too much. But, that's it for me. Peace.